Hey guys, Sean Hammond with Premier Guitar. We're at Winter NAMM 2020 in Anaheim talking to Ian at the Vox booth, and we got Kenny on guitar, and there are a bunch of cool new things here. This guitar is cool, but we're not going to talk about it yet because we're going to start with the Cambridge50, right?
Right, so we're starting out with the Cambridge50. That's our big product for this year. It is a digital modeling amp, 50 watts, but it features a new tube in the preamp section. New tube is our kind of shrunken down tube, which gives you that feel and response of a tube, but it allows us to have all that control of a digital modeling amp. So it's kind of everything packed into one, which is really great.
And that's the same tube that was in like the Super Beetle, right?
Right, so it's the same as like in the Super Beetle or our MV50s.
Okay.
And the only difference here is that it's digital modeling, so you can jump between 10 different amp models and bypassing the model entirely for, you know, acoustic guitars or a keyboard.
Okay. How about we have you kind of walk through the features and knobs as we hear Kenny demo how they sound? Like,
absolutely.
What do you want to start with?
So let's start with a kind of dirty, clean tone, like a classic AC30, because that really shows you that give and take that the tube will give you.
Before you start, how many amp models are there?
There are 10 amp models and a line mode, which bypasses the model but still runs through the preamp section.
Like for acoustic or
guitar and things like that.
Are all the models Vox?
They're all modeled on, you know, different classic amps. They're kind of in the Vox family, but it does go from super clean to kind of metal sounds.
Okay, and you said we're going to start with what again?
Let's start with an AC30, kind of right on the edge of breakup to show you really what the new tube can do.
Nice. Is that a 10-inch speaker?
It's a 12-inch speaker in there. It's a Celestian 12-inch speaker. It's the same speaker we have in our AC30 112 and our AC4. It's custom voice for the Vox sound.
Nice. Do you want to show us a couple other models?
Yeah, so let's check out a little bit of a higher gain, like right on the edge of crunch, to see, you know, it can go a little bit beyond what we typically.
Is this another famous British flavor?
It may or may not be. It's mostly just that classic rock sound.
Anything else you want to show us on this? Any different models, or should we move to the next thing?
Well, so Kenny has been jumping between models with the foot switch here.
Okay.
So the foot switch is a separate accessory, but it does give you 8 presets to kind of make this a perfect stage amp. So maybe we could do one more even higher gain, kind of showing a metal-ish thing.
Okay. Now, are there also effects, or just reverb, or what else?
So the effects have a delay and reverb knob, so that'll give you 2 delay types, 2 reverb types, as well as a 4 modulation type knob.
All right, so this is going to be heavier, right?
You have to.
Nice. All right, Ian, so pedals aren't new to Vox per se, but in my memory at least, I don't recall many this small before. You've had some bigger ones with like tubes in them and stuff,
Right.
Satriani signature ones and stuff. What's going on with these? What do they call?
So these are the Valvenergy series, and we kind of wanted to pick up where the last Vox pedals left off with those tubes, but shrink it down. So of course we use the new tube and put that in these pedals. And so the idea is that we have 4 different amp models. We have an AC30 sound, a clean sound, a crunch sound, and a high gain modern metal sound, all powered by that new tube, so you can get that responsiveness either going into the front end of an amp, which will kind of shape it to sound like a whole new amp, or in a preamp mode, which you can feed into a power amp or your effects return to then power a speaker, or even a cab sim mode, which will give you an analog cab sim on the output.
All of them have a cab sim?
Yep,
Okay.
and so each cab sim is voiced for each specific model. So like that classic rock will have a big 412 cab sound, where the AC30 will have a bit of a 212 combo sound.
Nice.
To the voicing of the cab sim.
Okay, so you've started out with a few here. You got like 5 and then a tuner, so you're just focusing on drive right now.
4 models and a tuner, and yeah, they're all drive, or that amp in a box kind of thing.
Okay. What should we hear first?
So let's start lowest gain to highest gain, so let's do our clean one.
Okay. Which is the
Called the Silk Drive.
Okay. Now, is this going through the Cambridge50 as well?
Yes.
Look, can we hear the bypass sound just to get a sort of reference point?
Absolutely.
Now, I imagine that the cab sim is off right now, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now we're in just the standard mode, which will go directly into your amp and kind of shape out some of your amp's EQ to let the EQ of the pedal take over and sort of transform it into a new amp sound entirely.
And what's going on with the little screen here?
So the screen is showing an oscilloscope, which is just going to show like the wave of what you're playing. And the neat thing is that it's on in like even when the pedal's bypassed, so you can kind of see what's happening to your sound.
So if you don't want to make eye contact with your audience, you can just look at that. And
Give you something to watch.
That's cool. I don't think I've heard of a pedal with an oscilloscope in it before. So should we hear another one? A different sound in that, or a different pedal, or?
Let's move on to the Mystic Edge, which is our AC30 sound.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
then-
after that, we'll jump up to the Copperhead Drive, which is that same classic rock type sound.
Oh, and so I just noticed another visual thing. It's not a traditional LED. It's sort of built into the top of the frame.
Right.
I was like, where is that coming from?
We thought we'd reuse a couple of the visual elements so that,
Nice.
keep it visually simple but show a lot of information.
Okay.
And even you'll notice when you click the screen on, it shows you which mode you're in. So when you're playing live and you turn it on and it says preamp, you're like, oh no, I gotta fix this before the song starts.
And that preamp would mean that there's cab sim on?
The preamp mode means it's the line out, so you could go into a power amp.
Okay.
But cab sim would also, it would either say standard preamp or cab sim.
Oh, okay.
So you know exactly what you're doing.
Okay. Should we hear the cutting edge now?
Yeah, so cutting edge is that modern metal high gain sound.
Nice. Anything you want to say about the tuner?
So the tuner is just to kind of match the visual style of the series, but it is great because it's our first pedal tuner in a while, and it is by far our most accurate pedal tuner. So you get the large display, which is super bright and easy to read, and then it'll tune to plus or minus 0.02 cents, which is about as accurate as you can get.
Nice. How much are these pedals going for?
So there's more info on the pedals coming soon. They're not quite in production yet, but they should retail at under $200.
Okay. Same with the tuner, or?
Tuner is available now and is $99.
Okay. And I forgot to ask on the Cambridge50, what's the price on that?
The price on the Cambridge50 is $299, and that's also available now.
Wow, $299, sweet. Okay, there's a couple more things. I know it's a limited edition, but I spied a new wah over there, like a new version of the classic 847.
Right, so here, let me grab that.
Move it, Kenny. Jeez.
This is the limited 847-C, and so the idea behind this is it's the wah sound that you know and love from Vox, but kind of updated to a modern rock sound. So basically all that happened was that frequency spectrum that you can sweep through was shifted down. So when you start and the pedal is all the way up, it gives you a much lower mid-range push rather than that bright high end. And then from there it goes even further down to get you that kind of throaty metal or Queens of the Stone Age, that kind of sound.
Cool. How much is that?
So these are also not quite in production yet. These will be made in Japan a limited series, and they will be available for about $229.
Okay, cool. Last but not least is this cool guitar. I know you guys have a history of making different guitars. This one, what's this one called? The Bobcat?
Yeah, so
tell us about that?
This is the Bobcat, and what we decided to do is kind of pay tribute to the classic semi-hollow body guitars that Vox made in the 60s in Italy. So there are two models, one with P90 pickups and one with 3 single coils. And both are sort of modern updates to that classic Italian sound. So the pickups are modeled and kind of made to recreate that sound. You have similar construction, but now with a weight relief center block to cut back on some of the feedback.
What are they made of?
They are made out of
maple, or
they're maple bodies with a mahogany neck and fretboard.
Cool. How much are they going for? Sorry, I just laugh at oblivious NAMM goers.
So these are made in Korea, so they're going to be going for about $1,300.
Cool. You want to tell people where to go online to find out more?
Absolutely. So you can find out more on all these products on voxamps.com or on our Instagram, which is Vox Amplification.
Sweet. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Ian. Thanks for joining us, guys. Be sure to subscribe below so you don't miss out on more NAMM coolness. Later.